on, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle. Today, I've got another underused match. This is the same team that I was using a couple videos back. Wanted to get some more use out of these guys, and this is against Alex from Twitter. So, looking at the team preview, the first things I noticed is that I'm going to have to work around Sticky Web, probably because of the Galvantula. He's also got some threats like the Mega Sceptile, along with Crobat, and he has a freaking Blissey, which I don't have to worry too much about because my team handles it kind of well, but also, the Crawdont does have potential to destroy my team if it can start setting up. So anyway, let's go ahead and just hop into the battle here. Alright, so as per usual, I'm just going to lead off with my Mega Steelix, as he ends up leading off with his Galvantula, as I expected. So this is a good matchup for me. I can knock this thing down to its Sash. I can also set up my Stealth Rock. I don't have to worry a whole lot about Sticky Web, because I do have a Rapid Spinner and Starmie on my team. So it's not the end of the world there as he goes ahead and sprays his webs on my side of the field, as I actually just end up going straight for an Earthquake. I think I forgot to Mega Evolve this first turn, which doesn't really matter. This thing does have a Focus Sash, I'm assuming, anyway, so it probably, it wouldn't have ended up knocking this thing out. So he's going to go ahead and switch out now. He wants to conserve his Galvantula, I assume, as I'm just going to go straight for a Stealth Rock here as he brings in the Crobat. So honestly, this matchup kind of works in my favor. I can get a lot of damage with Heavy Slam. I'm expecting this thing to probably just want to go for a Taunt, or the worst thing that can happen, I guess, is Heat Wave. Even then, I can take that. So I'm going to go ahead and Mega Evolve now, finally, bust out the big-ass jaw and get the gravity going, as he actually ends up going for a Defog, which I thought was really interesting because he's going to get rid of his own Sticky Web. And I still have my Stealth Rocker out on the field, so I can get my rocks back up at pretty much any time if I feel like it. So I just go for a Heavy Slam, trying to get as much damage as possible. Does a nice little chunk out of this fat bat, and that's pretty awesome. So at this point, I'm just going to actually go ahead and set right back up my Stealth Rock, as he's going to end up going right for a U-turn, which is fine. It doesn't really scratch me because I'm a big-ass gold metal snake that just doesn't take no damage from U-turns, as he's now going to switch into his Sceptile as I get my Stealth Rock up, which is really nice because that means that Crobat, if it does want to defog those away, is going to have to come in and take rock damage. So I'm assuming that the Sceptile is special attacking, so I'm going to go ahead and switch into my Conkeldurr, who is Assault Vested, and I can take some pretty solid attacks from this thing. If it does go for the Leaf Storm, I know that it's going to do over half, but I believe I can still take one more after the special attack drop. So he busts out the Christmas tree, goes all mega and shit, actually ends up going for a Focus Blast there, as that actually misses, and Conkeldurr is going to dodge that, which is really nice. He's actually just going to stay in here and goes for a Leaf Storm, does a decent chunk of damage to me, does lower his special attack 2 stages. As I go for the knockoff, I was honestly expecting this dude to switch out here, so it's not going to do very much damage because I can't get rid of his Mega Stone, obviously, as now he realizes he is going to switch out, and he goes right into the Crobat here, which is fine by me because I just went for a Poison Jab in case that Sceptile wanted to stay in on me, but the Poison Jab is still going to kill the Crobat, which is really cool, and I don't really have to worry about defog happening anymore, so that's pretty awesome, as he's actually just going to switch right back into the Mega Christmas Tree, I'm assuming just because he knows he can kill with Leaf Storm at this health. So I don't really want Conkeldurr to go down. I feel like this thing is looking pretty useful in this match, so I actually just decided to switch right into Darmanitan, which is usually risky business. This thing is what we like to call a glass cannon. It can't really take attacks, but I am able to at least take a Leaf Storm from the Sceptile relatively nicely. It still does over half, but it's not the end of the world here, as I know he does have an Arcanine on his team, which is the direct check to Darmanitan, so expecting that thing to come out, I'm just going to go straight for a U-turn and be able to get a matchup. So he comes in, goes for the Yell, Intimidate, and I'm like, I'm not afraid of yo ass, so I'm just going to actually, I kind of am, because I go for the U-turn and I get out of here. So, I mean, I can't really do a whole lot of damage to Arcanine. I do get hurt by the Rocky Helmet, which sucks, but luckily he doesn't have any Stealth Rock on my side. So Darmanitan is looking still useful as fuck, as this allows me to switch right back into Orbit, who is not afraid of any doggies, as this thing is actually just going to go for a Will-O-Wisp. Does kind of tell me a little bit about this thing's set. It's probably defensive with like Morning Sun, so I'm still just going to go for an Earthquake. I actually believe I end up getting a critical hit here, which isn't actually going to knock it out, but it brings it to red, which is pretty nice. Not the best, because this thing, like I said, it does have recovery in Morning Sun because you see the defensive type, so he does go ahead and just bask in some sun there. Somehow that heals him, as I believe I actually just go for the Toxic. I figured this Arcanine is going to kind of be a pain in the ass unless I can get a decent matchup against it, so I go for the Toxic there. I actually end up missing, which is terrible. Missing Toxics is like the worst thing ever, just such a waste of a turn. But he's now actually just going to go for a Flare Blitz. Not going to do a whole lot of damage to me because I am pretty much max HP and defense, so look at that, I take like no damage from that shit, as I am able to actually get a Toxic off, so that is perfect. And this is looking pretty stally here. I figure if he wants to stay in, he's going to, obviously get whittled down by Toxic. And at this point in the battle, I don't really care a whole lot about conserving Steelix, considering I am burned and I'm below half health. I figure I might as well just stay in here and kind of see what this Arcanine wants to go for, as he's actually just just going to go straight for another Morning Sun. So this thing is staying in here, getting some more health back, but as long as I have the Toxic on there, he can't really do a whole lot. So I just go for an Earthquake, trying to rack up as much damage as possible, waiting for this Toxic to kind of take its toll. Earthquake still does a, a solid little chunk. Mega Steelix is fucking awesome. I really love using this thing, honestly. It's got those badass, like, crystal, like, weird little peg arms on it on his side. I don't know, but he is now actually going to switch. As I go for a Heavy Slam, he's going to bring in the Galvantula. Not really sure if he was expecting me to switch out there or something, but the Galvantula is going to take some Stealth Rock, and then a Heavy Slam is going to definitely squash the fuck out of that bug. Funny story, I actually had to kill a spider that was on my pillow last night as I was sleeping. That was probably the scariest shit ever. I woke up and pretty much burned down my whole fucking house. But yeah, so now he brings back in the Sceptile. This thing is still kind of one of the bigger threats remaining on his team here. So he is getting hurt by a little bit of Stealth Rock, as I am actually just going to let him kill my Mega Steelix here, considering I don't really have anything that wants to come in on a Giga Drain at this point. Darmanitan can't really handle it, so I decide to let Steelix go down, which isn't the end of the world. So at this point, at least, I am able to go right into my Darmanitan yet again, who is faster because I'm Choice Scarfed, and I'm expecting him to want to switch into his Arcanine, so I actually double switch myself right into Starmie, hoping that the Fire Dog comes out, and it actually works out perfectly because he does go into Arcanine. And at this point, I've got the matchup, and he doesn't really have a whole lot that can switch into Starmie here, so it's gonna intimidate me. Obviously, Rick does not give two shits because I'm a special attacker. Arcanine's over here getting hurt by some poison, not looking too healthy over there, bud. Gotta go see the vet, as he's actually just gonna go for an extreme speed, trying to get as much damage as possible. I believe I'm max HP, so I'm able to take hits relatively nicely, and a Psyshock is gonna take care of the Arcanine. So down goes that thing. Darmanitan has a much easier time. I'm just going straight for attacks now, and I've kind of just got to work my way around that Sceptile. So now he's going to bring in the Mrs. Crab. So this thing's been in the back of the team the whole time. Haven't really been accounting for it a whole lot, but I'm actually just going to stay in here and go for a Scald. I know that he probably wants to start setting up some Dragon Dances, so I go for the Scald in hopes that I'll get a burn, but it actually does not happen. I do get a decent chunk of damage, though, as he is now going to Dragon Dance. I don't know who the fuck taught this thing how to Dragon Dance, but you're not a dragon. You're like a crawfish or some shit. So I honestly can't take a knockoff from this thing, but I figure I'm just gonna stay in and go for another Scald. I'm still faster actually after this thing even had a Dragon Dance, which is kind of funny. I max speed and max HP, but he goes for a knockoff that is obviously going to kill Rick there, so that's unfortunate, and I've kind of got to figure out a plan here. So I decided to bring in Conkeldurr. I figure I think I actually can take an Aqua Jet from this thing. I'm not sure if I calced it, but I'm going to go for a Mach Punch, as he actually ends up switching out. I think after the match I realized that he probably should have just stayed in there and gone for the Aqua Jet. But I go for the Mach Punch either way. It is going to punch that thing right in its stupid egg. Scrambles that shit up real nice. And we having omelets today, as that's a dead-ass Blissey. So now he's going to bring right back in the Mega Sceptile, who comes in and continues to be scary throughout this match, as I'm actually just going to go ahead and switch out here. I figure Conkeldurr's Mach Punch is looking really useful here, so I decided to sack off Darmanitan. It doesn't seem like I really need this thing, considering he does have the Crawdaunt with the Aqua Jet still chilling. So Shofu is going to go down, which is not too bad, as this allows me to switch into whatever I want, as I decide to go into Kingpin. The reason being is because I know that the only way he can kill me is if he decides to go for the Leaf Storm, which he does, so it's going to knock me out. But the good news about that is that he is going to lower his special attack harshly, which will allow me to take an attack from this thing later. So I kind of had to sack off my my Nidoking there. Doesn't really matter in the long run here, as I'm able to bring in Conkeldurr. I actually avoid the Leaf Storm, which is pretty bad. I think there was definitely some hacks bias in this battle. I definitely got the better end of the hacks there, as the Leaf Storm misses, but I'm able to Drain Punch that thing to death. It gives me a decent amount of HP to the point where I know I can take pretty much anything. So now he has to bring right back in Mrs. Crab's big meaty claws over here, and a Mach Punch will be able to take this thing out. So the Aqua Jet doesn't do a whole lot of damage to me, and I go ahead and just punch this thing right in the chest. So that is a dead Crawdaunt. And that's going to be the end of the battle there. There was definitely some misplays, I believe, on both ends, and some pretty solid hacks, but I wanted to get this battle up for you guys. I have been having some fun with this team. I like switching between underused and never used lately. Seems like a pretty fun time. But as always, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate all the support that I've been getting on my Wi-Fi battles lately. You guys are killing the like button, over 1,000 on every battle, I believe. And yeah, so don't forget to subscribe for some more Wi-Fi battles. I will be back as soon as possible. I think it might be a couple days until I can get some uploads up. I've got quite a few things to handle. I'm actually moving out of my house soon, so that's going to be kind of a pain in the dick, but we'll get it figured out. But anyway, thank you guys for all the support, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.